Hi, in this video we're going to start working with quadratic functions, right? We already saw linear functions and now we're going to use quadratic. That means that my highest exponent is going to be a 2. Let's start with the vertex form. The vertex form is going to have the vertex directly. Like for example, right here, my vertex on this function is going to be h and k, right? So it's going to be the opposite. That's important that it's in here. And we already saw in class y is going to be the opposite, so it's h and k. The axis of symmetry is a line that divides the parabola into mirror images. This is very important. So when we are going to draw the graph, this part right here, that is mirror image, is going to help me with the graph. So, and passes through the vertex. That's another part, important part right here, that is passes through the vertex. And then the line is a vertical line with the function with the equation x equals 2h. So let's start tracing the graph right here. So it says graph the each functions, label the vertex and axis of symmetry. My first step is that I'm going to identify my vertex. So my vertex here is 4 and -2. Remember that in here, again, the function is h is minus h. So that means that my vertex is going to be the opposite that I have here. So it's -4. So that means that it's going to be 4. Now, so I'm going to mark that point. I'm going to start by marking that point. So 4, -2. So that point is right here. Now my axis of symmetry is x equals 2, 4. And I'm going to draw that line, and it's going to be a dotted line because it's not part of the graph. It's going to help me graph, but it's not going to be part of the graph. Let me do this again, and let's find that a little bit. Right? This is my axis of symmetry right there. Now, right here, my next step is that I'm going to take a point to the right and a point and a point 1 unit to the right and a point 2 units to the right. So I'm going to start by plugging in that 5. So from the vertex, I'm going to choose 1 to the right, and I'm going to plug that information here. So that means that I got y equals 2, 1/2, 5 minus 4 squared minus 2. So 1/2 of 5 minus 4 is 1 squared minus 2. So this means that it's 1/2 because this is the same as 1. 1 times 1/2 is 1/2 minus 2. I'm going to find a common denominator. So 1/2 minus 4 over 2. So that means that this equals to -3/2. So that means that here I have the point 5 and -3/2. -3/2 is the same as -1.5. Okay? So that means that I'm going to mark that point right here. 1.5 is, so it's 5, and 1.5 is this point right here. Now, the axis of symmetry, whatever I mark to the right, I'm going to mark that exact value to the left. So if I got this point right here, that means that I should have one point, that same point over here. Okay. Now I'm going to take 6. I'm going to do it over here. Let's say 6. Why 6? Because it's 2 units to the right of that axis of symmetry. So I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to plug it in. So x equals to 6. Here x equals to 5. So 1/2, 6 minus 4 squared minus 2. So 1/2 of 6 minus 4 is 2 squared. So I have 1/2 times 4. 1/2 times 4 is the same as 2 minus 2 is 0. So that means that here I have the point 6, 0. So 6, 0 is this point right there. Now, again, I mark that point 1, 2 units to the right. So that means that I'm going to mark that same point 2 units to the left. So I should have this point right here. And with that, I have enough to trace my graph. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but I got to see that curve on the vertex. This down here is the vertex right there. Okay, let's see number 2. Number 2, again, let's start by identifying my vertex. So it's 1, positive 4. So 1, positive 4 is up here. Then my axis of symmetry is x equals to 1. So I'm going to mark that right here. x equals to 1. I'm going to choose 1 point to the right. So it's 2. By the way, the reason why I mark my axis of symmetry below my vertex is because this is negative. We're going to see now that my graph is going to open down. So I'm going to start by choosing x equals to 2, and I'm going to plug in that on the equation. So again, it's 2 because that's 1 unit to the right of the vertex. Okay? So y equals to negative 2, 2 minus 1 squared plus 4. So negative 2 times 1 squared plus 4. So this is negative 2 plus 4, that equals 2. 2. So that means that from here I got the point. This is the x value, 2, and the y value in this case is 2. So I'm going to mark that point right here. Again, as you can see, I'm marking that point 1 unit to the right of my axis of symmetry. So that means that right there, that same value, I'm going to mark it to the left. So I'm going to mark a point right here too. Okay. Now, next one, I'm going to select x equals to 3. 3 because it's 2 units to the right of the vertex. And I'm going to plug that information. So y equals to negative 2, 3 minus 1 squared plus 4. So negative 2 times 2 squared plus 4. So this is negative 2 times 4 plus 4. So negative 8 plus 4. And that equals 2, negative 8 plus 4, negative 4. So that means that I get a point 3, negative 4. Means that I get a point down here. Down here. And again, I'm marking this point here 2 units to the right of the axis of symmetry. So that means that I got to mark a point 2 units to the left. So from here, 1 and 2. So I should mark a point right there, right here. And with that information, I should be able to trace my graph. Okay, so let's see this one again. Let's start by identifying vertex. So my vertex is 2, negative 3. So 2, negative 3 is down here. Then again, my axis of symmetry is x equals to that x value. So x equals to 2. So my axis of symmetry is right here. Now I'm going to select 1 point to the right. So I'm going to select x equals to 3. I'm going to plug that information. So y equals to 2. 3 minus 2 squared minus 3. So 2 times 1 squared minus 3. So 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So I got the point 3, negative 1. So I got the point here. Again, I'm marking that point 1 unit to the right. So I'm going to mark that point, exact point 1 unit to the left. So I'm marking the point here. Then I'm going to take x equals to 4. For those x values, you can choose any value that you want. If we want to plug 9, that's fine, you can do it. But the closer to the axis of symmetry, the smaller the y value is going to be, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to mark that point. The farthest that I get from the axis of symmetry, the larger that y value is going to be, and then it's going to be harder for me to graph because then I'm going to have a very large coordinate plane. So the closer to the axis of symmetry, the better. So that's why I'm recommending you to take always the 2 closest one to the axis of symmetry. So 2 squared minus 3. So 2 times 4 minus 3. So 8 minus 3, and that's 5. So that means that here I have the point 4, 5. So 4, 5. It's going to be this point here. Again, I mark that point 2 units to the right of the axis of symmetry. That means that I'm going to mark that same point 2 units to the left. And now I'm just going to trace my graph. And as you can see, again, I'm not expecting you to graph a perfect graph, but you have to see that down here, there's a curve and it's not just like a V. So that should become like a U. Okay, so the last one, again, let's start by identifying vertex. In this case, it's plus 4, so that means that I got negative 4, and then I got negative 1. So negative 4, negative 1 is this one. Again, my A value in this case is -1, right? So A equals to -1 is that number that I'm multiplying in front of the parentheses. So that means that my graph is going to open down. So it's going to open down right here. Okay. So I'm going to choose 2 points to the right. So I'm going to choose x equals to -3 and x equals to -2. And let's plug that information. So I get y equals to -3 plus 4 squared minus 1. So y equals to -1 squared minus 1. So y equals to -1 minus 1, and that equals to negative. Right here I got the point -3, -2. So -3, -2 is this point right here. Again, I'm marking that 1 unit. In this case, that one that is a little bit lighter, that means that is half. So I'm actually marking one entire unit to the right. So that means that I'm going to mark it 1 unit to the left. So I'm marking this point right here. Okay. Now I'm going to plug in the -2. So y equals to -2 plus 4 squared minus 1. So y equals to -2 squared minus 1. So y equals to -4 minus 1. Y equals to -5. So I got the point -2 and -5. -2, -5 is this point right here. Again, I'm marking that from the axis of symmetry, 1 and 2. So I'm going to mark the same 1 and 2 to the left. So I'm going to mark that point right here. Okay? And now I'm going to trace my graph right there. And that's it for this lesson. May the force be with you.